Hello, today is day 24. I missed day 22 and 23. Anyways, today I'm gonna go over an exercise I did with my therapist a couple days ago. It's called the Imago Model. Imago Model, and we did this September 16th, if you're wondering. So first I'm gonna go over how we did the model together, and then I'm gonna tell you what each question meant. So in case you wanted to do it along with me, you can. So just as a caveat or whatever, when she did this with me, she did give me examples, but I can't remember all of the examples. So I won't be giving examples because I'm just gonna think of the examples that are in front of me, the ones that I ended up choosing. I didn't use only examples, like some of them I came up with myself, but just throwing that out there in case you do better with examples. Maybe if you're doing this along with me, you can look up Imago Model examples. But the thing is, don't figure out what each question means. Okay, let's dive right in. So the first one, the question was, I guess it's not all questions. Well, the question is, what are characteristics of my caregivers that were negative characteristics for my caregivers? And I chose to do it for both of my parents, just so that there would be more, because each one I thought had different characteristics. So I said critical, anxious, and unfair, and then absent. And by absent, like they had a role in my life, yes, like they were actively involved that way, but I meant like more so emotionally absent and like worked a lot, so absent in that sense. Busy and dismissive. And then I'm trying to think if I want to explain it more. Unfair, I just felt like, and it's like in Hispanic culture, like just gender bias. But the other two kind of explain itself. The other ones explain themselves. But yeah, critical, anxious, unfair, absent, busy, dismissive. Second question was, what are characteristics of my caregivers that are positive? And for this one, I said funny, intuitive, unapologetic. That's my mom. And by unapologetic, I meant like she is who she is. I think my dad would joke around and say like her family are jungle hillbillies because she's from the jungle, and I can see the hillbilly like part, like they live out in the country, and like I don't know, when they're with family they don't necessarily have a lot of class. It's just like more about being comfortable and being yourself and not like trying to impress other people. Like right now, like I'm picking at my ear, like that's from the jungle hillbilly side of me. But then for my dad, financially secure, outgoing. No! Outgoing and curious. Thank you. I'm making a video. Thank you. So it's funny, intuitive, unapologetic, financially secure, outgoing, curious. Third one, what did my heart desire as a child? Like, if I had a void, well, take away the void. Just what did I feel I was missing as a child that I really wanted? She's moving my stand. And I said to be seen, to be valued more, and to be hugged more. So to be seen, to be valued more, and to be hugged more. Josie, I need this. Okay. And then for number 4, it was recall emotions I felt during the happiest times of my life. Like when I felt the most happiest, like think of my happiest memories, where I enjoyed myself the most. What emotions did I feel? And I said valued, loved, and calm. Valued, loved, and calm. And with that is I felt overlooked a lot, or like my contributions like didn't mean much to people. And with loved, I meant cared for. Like people would notice if I'm in the room or not, or like people had a genuine curiosity about my well-being and like wanted what was best for me. And then calm is I didn't know at the time that I felt a lot of anxiety, but I knew I was just like frantic and like off. So there was that. And the last one is describe how I responded to frustrations as a child. Like whenever I didn't get my needs met or whatever, like any frustration, how did I react? And I said I lashed out, I tried harder, and I dissociated. So lashed out, oh my God, I would get so angry and say like the meanest, most hurtful things because I didn't have strong boundaries with people. So I would excuse a lot of behavior because I've always been very understanding. So I'd be like, okay, so this person's doing this because of this, but then like I would take so much crap from people and then I would just explode. And it's just like, you know what, like fuck this, you know, this is why blah 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 blah. But something that I pointed out to my therapist is whenever I lashed out, I never did it with the intention of like hurting individuals. Like I did it kind of like calling them out, like saying things that I held in that I truly felt in my heart, but it was never to hurt them. I mean, some of them, they took it as mean because I could have probably said it, I could have definitely said it in a nicer way, but it wasn't just making shit up to belittle people, is what I'm trying to say. It still doesn't take away from the fact that it was mean and hurtful, because just because I felt it at that moment that it was true, or even if I felt that it was true, it was still through the lens of hurt. So I tried harder. Like I would think it was my fault in some way, and like it was just for the situation was for me to fix, or the person was for me to fix. And lastly, dissociated. I would just create like images in my mind, and I shared with my therapist the first time I remember fully making the decision about dissociating. I was in a salon getting my hair done, and it was just very painful, and I just remember thinking like, let me think to the future, like once this is done, like 12 hours from now. Do my hair lasted a long time, sometimes it'd be like 8 hours doing my hair, but anyways, I would think to the future, like when I will be done, like just picture myself watching TV, thinking back to this moment, thinking I'm so glad that's over. And I would just really focus in on that in my head and in my mind. And then when the time would pass of me thinking about that, like the moment I was thinking of when I would get to it, I would think back like, oh my gosh, like that, it really wasn't that bad. But then that turned into, that turned into me creating fantasy situations, and then me wanting to live in that situation to escape where I was. I have ants crawling on me. We have ants in my yard. And then that turned into like I would get mad when people would talk to me while I was dissociating and daydreaming, and then it just became dysfunctional for me. So anyways, now I'm going to share what each things mean, and then re-share my answers, but I won't explain it this time, I guess. So for the first one, again, it was describe the characteristics of my caregivers that were negative. This is who you're attracted to. I think I'm gonna go quickly and do that, and then I'll turn it into the sentence, because you're supposed to turn this whole thing into a sentence at the end. So the first question of what characteristics of your caregivers, name characteristics of your caregivers that are negative. This is who you're attracted to. So I'm attracted to a person that is. Second, what are the characteristics of a caregiver that are positive? I expect the person I'm attracted to be. Third, what my heart desired as a child is so that I can get. Fourth, recall emotions I felt during the happiest times of my life would be so that I can feel. And then lastly, describe how I responded to frustration as a child, but I stopped myself from getting this by. So the full thing would be, I'm attracted to a person that is critical, anxious, unfair, absent, busy, and dismissive. However, I expect the person I'm attracted to be funny, intuitive, unapologetic, financially secure, outgoing, and curious, so that I can get seen, valued more, and hugged more, so that I can feel valued, loved, and calm. But I stop myself from getting this by lashing out, trying harder, and disassociating. And then with the trying harder, like I stopped myself from getting this by trying harder. Like I asked my therapist, my understanding of it was like maybe I stay in situations like trying to fix it rather than like recognizing like this is like I'm not going to get my needs met from this environment or this person and just moving on. And she told me that she interpreted it the same way. And she asked me what stood out the most to me, and I said the first and the fifth one. I can't remember too much what she said about the first one. I think she was just like, it made like, I don't remember. But for the fifth one, it's because I was asking, how do you use this information to better your relationships without just like ending them all? Because this is mostly for like your primary partner, like a life partner, like a romantic partner, but it can be true for like platonic partners as well, especially if they're very significant in your life. So for me, well, she said like really focus on number 5 and like how you react to situations. And she asked like how I can like counter these things that are holding me back, I guess. And I said, I think if I have strong boundaries, that'll help. Because if I have strong boundaries, I'm not going to try harder in situations that aren't healthy for me. And I pointed out that once I'm done with the situation or a person, I'm done for good. And before, it would take me longer to get to the point of being done. Like I would give a lot of chances, but I don't give out as many chances. And I think I'm to the point where like I saw this thing of like benefit of doubt. Like I'm no longer doing the benefit of doubt. And I looked it up because I knew the feeling of what that phrase meant, but I didn't know the actual definition. Like I used it a lot and I've heard it used a lot, but I've never like properly looked up the dictionary's definition of the word, like the official definition. And it was like giving out trust even when you've observed reasons to not trust the situation or person. So you have like suspicions or evidence of not trusting this person, but you're gonna like excuse away the behavior because there's a slight chance that that person might not be sketchy. I fucked that up, but you get it. It was close enough. She's biting me. Oh no, she's not. That's just her cheek. So that's that. I made me lose my spot. And then the lashing out and dissociating, she pointed out like boundaries would really definitely help with that as well. because both have to do with being reaching my capacity and being overwhelmed by that. Like, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm just gonna go off on you, or I'm so overwhelmed that I'm just gonna like tuck into myself and hide. But either way, I felt like I learned a lot about myself. Like, this is all information that I knew, but to just have it sit out in front of me, so simple, just I feel more in control in a way with this information. Yeah, Drew did this, and it worked, but I felt like mine was it more closely aligned to, like, I felt mine was more accurate, and I think because I had the guidance of a therapist while I did it, and again, I was given examples along the way, so I apologize that I didn't have examples. But please let me know in the comments, like, if you followed along with me, how you felt about your answers and your results. But really quickly, to touch on symptoms and stuff, I feel more and more present. Also, I found out, like I've been mentioning multiple times, that I feel tension in my throat. Like, it feels like someone's kind of choking me, like there's a lump in my throat. And I found out anxiety can cause that. Like, there's a word for it. Like, it is something. And I guess it's a big deal if someone has it for a few days or like a week. I've had it for years. Damn. Anyways, it's like warm compress and different things you can do. So I ordered like a neck warm compress that I'm gonna use. But like when I go like this, like it just feels, my neck feels sore a lot. Like on the inside a little bit, but even if it's not like a sore neck on the inside, it just always feels sore on the outside. So I'm glad to know a cause for that, so I don't feel crazy, basically, because I know like my singing voice isn't like amazing, but it's not as bad as it is, because sometimes it sounds good, but it's when I don't feel that. So I need to figure out a way to get rid of that. But anyways, Josie wants to go back inside. So we're gonna go back inside. But yeah, let me know in the comments, if you followed along, how you felt about all this. Say bye, Josie. Bye. 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 She waves bye, right? Thank you.